Hello, I'm Kristen Brznowski, executive editor of TV Reel, and I'm speaking to series producer Charlotte Rodrigues about JFK, One Day in America. Hi, Charlotte.
Hello there.
It's great to speak with you. And can you start by telling me, how did JFK, One Day in America come about?
Well, 72 films, which are based in London, UK, they were commissioned by Nat Geo to make 9/11, One Day in America, which was 2 years in the making. It's an extraordinary series. If you haven't watched it, you should. And it won Best Historical Documentary at the Emmys, not last year or 2 years ago. So off the back of that, Nat Geo felt that they could turn that into a sort of a franchise, I suppose. And they thought about what other significant event that has happened historically that was well covered in terms of archive that we could make a film about. And JFK, of course, came up because it was one of the most significant historical moments ever in American history. So that's how it came about. And so 72 were obviously commissioned to make it.
So how did you go about making this feel like a sort of moment by moment series?
Well, I guess it was very much, we were driven very much by our key, eyewitnesses, our interviewees, and their testimony. We felt that this was obviously probably the last time that we were going to hear from them, it being 60 years since the event happened. So we really wanted to sort of capture that and make it feel as kind of immersive and as emotional. It was very much about the sort of human experience of that day rather than the conspiracy theories or anything like that. And we really wanted it to be moment by moment, minute by minute, so that the audience is brought into that moment through the archive, so that we allow the audience to live in the archive as well, that we don't rush through it. I don't know if you've seen the series, but it's quite slowly paced. And I think there was a reason for that. We wanted people to sort of just really be immersed in the testimony, but also in the archive of that day. And I hope we succeeded in doing that.
Talk about that decision to colorize news footage, and what does this lend to the overall production?
Well, we made a previous series at 72 that was historical, and they had colorized the footage. And so we felt that this was a really good opportunity to do the same, because I think our ambition is that we wanted to sort of perhaps get a sort of younger audience to engage in this story, who'd never sort of come across it before. And we felt that by colorizing some of the footage, it would give more nuances of humanity, and it would bring it to life a lot more. Literally kind of make it more colorful, but also feel more, it would resonate more with a younger audience. I think you definitely kind of feel it feels quite exciting, because so many people have seen that footage black and white but have never seen it in color. So it lends itself to a completely different feel, tonally as well. So yeah.
Tell me about gaining access to some of these last remaining survivors.
So actually, there were not a huge amount left, sadly, it being 60 years. And actually, interestingly, we thought it would be very difficult to kind of get people on board, but actually our wonderful producers, Sophie and Henry, whose job it was to sort of, do the research and find out who was still around and reaching out to people. They did a brilliant job in sort of getting pretty much everyone on board that we approached. Pretty much had like a 99% success rate. I think people obviously, felt, I don't know, perhaps it was because so many years have gone by, they felt their story was perhaps redundant. I think maybe us inviting them to talk about it again felt like for them quite a nice opportunity. And we felt very privileged to be able to interview them, and they gave wonderful interviews and testimonies, and some of like 7 hours long. So we really tired them out, but they did a brilliant job, and we sort of really wanted to kind of go through minute by minute with them and make them relive that experience in a very visceral and very emotional way.
What, above all, do you hope that viewers will take away after having watched this?
No, an appreciation of what, you know, JFK was, and the people, and I suppose it not just about John F. Kennedy, but it's also about Jackie and how brave she was, I suppose, but also about the ripple effects that it had globally. It was such a huge, significant event that happened, and a tragic one, obviously, at that. And I, being British, hadn't quite appreciated how huge and significant an event it was, and still continues to be, and it still seems to sort of capture people's imaginations. I suppose there's still lots of questions that have been left unanswered, primarily because I suppose Oswald was assassinated as well. So there's lots of, you know, there's lots of what ifs and questions. But I think also the fact that someone shot, you know, the president of the United States was so horrific and sad that it, you know, for a lot of our key witnesses, our interviewees, it had a very defining moment. It left a very defining moment in their lives and had a huge impact. But it also had, you know, globally, it had a huge impact as well.
Well, this is a beautifully done project. So thanks for taking us behind the scenes, and I'm really excited for everyone else to get to see it.
Thank you very much. It was nice talking to you.